Hey guys, I'm Amy. Welcome to our new series called Doors. We're so glad that you're here joining us this week. In this series, we're learning all about choices and how the choices we make can affect our lives. The doors you see throughout this series will represent choices. Some of these doors will lead to bad choices, while others will lead to good. The Bible tells us that when we put our trust in God, He will show us which door to go through. To help us better understand this, we are going to sing a song about our memory verse, which is Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. And it says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not depend on your own understanding. Seek His will in all that you do, and He will show you which path to take." Let's sing it together.
Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not depend on your own understanding. Seek His will in all you do, and He will show you which path to take. Whoa, oh, oh. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not depend on your own understanding. Seek His will in all you do, and He will show you which path to take. Whoa, oh, oh. Whoa, oh, Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Whoa, oh, oh. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6.
That was a great song. That worship song teaches us that we can look to God for answers when making choices. Sometimes it can be hard to know what the right choice may be in certain situations, but the Bible tells us that we can always ask God for help. Now, we're going to watch our Bible story, where we'll learn about how we can make the right choice. Let's check it out.
Stories of the Bible. Samson and Delilah. This is Samson, who was the last judge of Israel. Samson was very strong, and he was supposed to bring God's people victory over their enemies, who were the Philistines. Now Samson fell in love with a woman named Delilah.
Oh, hey there.
Hi, hi.
And the Philistines came to Delilah
What's going on?
and convinced her to find out what the secret to Samson's strength was. They promised her a great amount of money if she could do this.
Now you're talking.
Hey.
Come in.
So Delilah said to Samson, "Please tell me what makes you so strong, and what would it take to tie you up securely?"
Well,
Samson replied, "If I were tied up with 7 new bowstrings that have not yet been dropped, I would become as weak as anyone else."
You ain't here.
So the Philistine rulers brought Delilah 7 new bowstrings,
Look what I got.
go on, try.
and she tied Samson up with them.
Haha, see?
Oh no, Samson!
she cried out, "Samson, the Philistines have come to capture you." But Samson snapped the bowstrings,
Let me at him.
so the secret of his strength was not discovered.
Hey, wait a minute.
Afterward, Delilah said to him, "You've been making fun of me and telling me lies. Now please tell me how you can be tied up securely."
All right.
Samson replied, "If I were tied up with brand new ropes that had never been used, I would become as weak as anyone else."
Let me try.
So Delilah took new ropes and tied him up with them.
See?
Oh no!
And again Delilah cried out, "Samson, the Philistines have come to capture you."
What? Where? Let me at him.
But again Samson snapped the ropes from his arms.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Then Delilah said, "You've been making fun of me and telling me lies. Now tell me, how can you be tied up securely?"
All right, I'll tell you.
Samson replied, "If you were to weave the 7 braids of my hair into the fabric on your loom and tighten it with a loom shuttle, I would become as weak as anyone else."
Now we got him.
So while he slept, Delilah wove the 7 braids of his hair into the fabric. Again she cried out, "Samson, the Philistines have come to capture you."
Let me at him.
But Samson woke up and yanked his hair away from the loom and the fabric.
You gotta be kidding me.
Then Delilah pouted, "How can you tell me I love you when you don't share your secrets with me?
Come on.
No.
You've made fun of me 3 times now, and you still haven't told me what makes you so strong." She tormented him with her nagging day after day until he was sick to death of it.
All right already.
Finally, Samson shared his secret with her. "My hair has never been cut, for I was dedicated to God as a Nazirite from birth. If my head were shaved, my strength would leave me, and I would become as weak as anyone else."
Well, that's it.
Thank you.
Delilah realized he had finally told her the truth,
Hey, you.
so she sent for the Philistine rulers. "Come back one more time," she said, "for he has finally told me his secret." So the Philistine rulers returned.
Oh, Samson.
Delilah lulled Samson to sleep. And then she called in a man to shave off the 7 locks of his hair. Samson's strength left him. Then she cried out, "Samson, the Philistines have come to capture you." When he woke up, he thought, "I will do as before and shake myself free."
Oh, what's going on?
But he didn't realize the Lord had left him. So the Philistines captured him and took him to prison.
What a great Bible story! This Bible story helped us to learn more about the significance of our choices and how every choice we make has an impact on other parts of our lives. Now we are going to watch a short story about a kid who has the opportunity to choose between the right choice or the wrong choice. Let's watch and see what happens.
Did you guys see that? Was that cool or what? Hey, you may not know this, but I'm pretty close to being a professional trick guy on the bicycle. Yep. And I didn't wake up one morning and just all of a sudden I was great at this. Oh no. I made a choice to practice every single day. And in fact, that's what we're talking about in this new series called Doors. We're talking about the power of your choices that you make every single day. Did you know that you make probably around 9,000 choices every single day? Seriously, you do. You make about 9,000 choices. And in fact, you just made several choices just then. Yep, you chose to either believe what I said or not, and you chose to listen to me or not. See? You just made another choice. See, the reality is some choices we make aren't that big a deal. For example, nobody cares what color socks I chose today. Nobody cares. But if I chose not to brush my teeth, yeah, people are gonna care. If I chose not to take a shower for a week, whoa! people are gonna care, right? Some choices aren't that big a deal. Some choices are a very big deal. But in this series called Doors, we're gonna learn how each of our choices can lead to something else. Just like a door. When you open a door, it leads to another place. It leads to another room, a hallway, it leads in a building, out of a building. The door leads somewhere. So do your choices. When you make a choice, there are consequences. Good consequences or bad consequences. It depends on the decision. So in this series, we're going to look at the power we have in making choices and the fact that you and I can make good choices. See, our scripture verse for this series comes from Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, and it says this: trust in the Lord with all of your heart. Do not depend on your own understanding. Seek His will in all that you do, and He will show you which path to take. And that's what we're going to do right now. So take a look at this, and when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about those choices. In the meantime, I'm going to do a really cool trick that you've never seen before. Triple Lindy back double twist. Watch this. As you can see, the boy in the short story, he had an opportunity. He had two doors. He could make the right choice or he can make the wrong choice. And he made the right choice. And look at the consequences. They were good consequences. And he was blessed because he made the right choice. But we saw in our Bible story, this guy named Samson. Here's Samson. See the S? Samson. Samson was given special strength by God for a very special reason. He wasn't given this super strength just so that he could be cool and everybody like him. God had a very specific plan for Samson's life. But there was one thing Samson could not do. He couldn't tell anyone the source of his strength. Now, what was the source of Samson's strength? Yep, it was his hair. And he couldn't cut his hair. But this girl, Delilah, she was paid off by the Philistines, these bad guys, to try to discover Samson's strength so that they could do away with him. And she would ask him, and Samson had a choice. He had two doors. He could have made the right choice and said, no, I can't tell you. God told me not to tell anyone. But what did he do? He kind of danced around it, tried to play games with her and play tricks with her, and it led to some pretty bad consequences. He fell for the trap. And sometimes we are tempted, just like Samson, to make the wrong decision. And we have a real enemy whose name is Satan. And Satan tries to trap us into making bad choices. And I have these rat traps right here to represent the traps that Satan, our enemy, puts out in front of us. He tempts us and tries to get us to do these bad things we call sin. And we have an opportunity in those moments to choose the right door or to choose the wrong door. And just like Samson, we come across those traps and we know what we should do. Samson knew what he was supposed to do. He could have made the right choice, but he didn't. And he fooled around and he got caught in the trap. And there were bad consequences. The same thing happens to us. When we know the right decision, we know the right choice that we should make that choice. Remember, we said before that some of our choices, they don't really matter that much. They don't have that big of an impact in our life. But there are other choices, many other choices, that do have a very big impact. You have the ability to make the right choice. You can choose the door that leads to right choices. Whenever we lean on God, we trust Him. We don't trust our own feelings and our own emotions, but we trust God, we trust His Word, and we do the right thing. You can do that this week. We love you guys, and my prayer for you is that you will, every chance you get, you'll make the right choice and go through the right door. Love you guys. We'll see you next time.
Wow, Pastor Steve helped us to understand how important it is to make the right choice. Also, in the short film, we got to see how the choices the kid made affected their life. Just like the kid in the video, we must remember to make choices that honor God. That's it for today. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Bye.